Welcome back to another video, guys. These are the Anderson connectors that I've bought. So let's have a look at what exactly you get. So when you're buying these connectors, and here's just a reference size, they are pretty chunky. These are the second biggest ones you can get. I mean, there's a finger for comparison. Yeah, so when you buy them, you get these housings, which are the plastic bits, but then you also get these contacts, which I didn't realise at first. I thought it was all in one. So these are about £5 each, and these are about £2 each, which means the total is £125 on connectors, which is scandalous for what you get, but they're the only people who make them, so if you want them, you got to buy them, basically. The main benefits of these connectors that make them sort of worth the money for me is that they are easy to connect and disconnect without much force, which is important with the tight space I have, as well as being able to carry up to 240 amps of current all day long, in theory. Another nice feature is that they can clip together to neaten things up and feel really high quality. So I'm hoping it'll be worth it, because it was a bit of a plunge, but anyway. So the idea behind how all of this is going to work is that I'm going to put a lug on the end of this wire, which mounts to here, like I've shown you. And then this will double back, meet roughly where the two packs would meet if I squish them together. And then the same will be here. So this will go here, double back, and then they'll meet in the middle, and it will keep going on like that 3 times, because there's 4 packs, so I'm going to have to jump between them 3 times, you see what I mean? And then I'll have a black one coming right from the end, which will just go up to the BMS. And then for the end one, I'm going to have a 90 degree connector just to save space, which will come down and then into the Sabaton. Right, so here are the first 2 connectors on. As you can see, I've got the plate design, and with the neoprene, that's not making contact, because if there was, there would be a big bang. I've also added the balance lead on top of these, but I'm going to need to sand these down because they've got some sort of like anodizing coating on the top, just to make the best contact. And then when I do it for real, I'll tighten them all down, because if it's only making contact through this point, that's a lot of current through that one bolt. I want it to be spread evenly across so it doesn't create too much heat or anything. And then you just line up the solid bit with the opening, and they just clip together like that. And then these are just the ends of the bus bars that have been cut up to use as spacers, like so. So here are the first 3 packs with all but one of the wires, because I ran out of wire. Still got the final negative to do. Let's just connect them all up. Let's put that one on the negative, that one on the positive. You can see we have 42 volts, which is exactly what it should be. So these are all working. Now there are still a few little bits to trim up. For example, the plastic insulation, I don't know how well you can see that, but basically these little insulating tabs here, I need to trim them down so they're level with the spacers I've put on. That way the lug will make contact with all of this rather than resting on the plastic a bit, which will not be good, basically. Now you might have noticed that I've gone for a different foam strategy. I'm putting it this way rather than this way. Reason being, so it doesn't obscure these bits and make it a bit wider, it just makes it harder to get into the case. So here is what I think is going to be a finished module. I've put all the connectors on and put the new neoprene wrap on. I've put some Kapton tape over the connectors just for some insulation in case they were to hit the top of the case. So I've added the negative wire, which comes right from the end of this furthest cell, and if I connect up my multimeter to the positive and this new black wire, you can see we have the full 53 volts. And as I've said before, the BMS is going to go inside in this kind of position, and then just bolt onto the top, and then I'm going to cover this with a TFT display which is going to show things like how much amp hours you've used, what the temperature readings are, and some general statistics. So here's what I've done to the BMS. Obviously took the plate off and used it as a template, and then I've put in the 2 center screws to clamp it down, just to ensure a good contact. And then the 4 around the outside are going to be the ones that actually attach to the top. Partly just to save me having to drill 2 extra holes, but also in case, I don't know, for whatever reason, one of the screws isn't done tightly and it's not actually applying pressure. These just make sure that the MOSFETs are always in contact with the heat sinks, so there's not going to be a heat issue. Then obviously the Andersons on each end. I've also just noticed, I don't know if you can see this, there's a silk screen in there. So this one's the temperature sensor telling you what's ground and which one's for the actual sensor. And then you've got the battery positive and all the battery ones layered out, spread out. And then you've got this one here, which is the one I don't know what it's for, but it's got a load of obviously letters here, but then diode numbers. I'm wondering if these are expandable for the internal LEDs, because that could be quite cool actually. I'm guessing that's what that is, but as to the VGA, BHL, don't know. And that is how it's going to go, nice and tucked away in there. That wire can then bend around and go to the Sabaton. That can come around and easily connect to the batteries, and there's plenty of space to the other side for all the balance wires and all of that. Right, so latest update is BMS is all in there. I've put the Anderson connectors on both ends and put the Anderson connector on the main negative wire. So that's basically all this end done. That's obviously the positive wire coming out. All I've got to do is just make a little patch cable going from the Sabaton up to there, and then sort out all the balance leads which are up here. Right, so as you can see, I've turned the bike around, which exposes all the balance leads and temperature sensors. I'm also just going to mark which ones are the BMS ones with a piece of tape so I don't get confused. And it's a good thing I did check, because I've wired up this connector back to front and I haven't connected the main positive connector. I've also added in this metal bar which goes in between the rods in the middle and this battery, and that just helps spread the load across the battery and stops the rods digging in, which would be pretty bad. So this just spreads the load. Right, this is no word of a lie. This is the first time powering up this Sabaton with these new batteries. Here's the power button. Here goes. I haven't connected up the motor, so there's no chance of it like shooting off or anything. I have my hands ready on a connector to pull apart in case. 3, 2, 1. Hey, look at that! Oh, yes! Oh, I've not seen that for a long time since I've been installing these. And also, it's been like 10 months since I've been out on an e-bike. But you know what's next. It's a test ride. But you're going to have to wait till the next video, because this video's already getting pretty long. So I'll be posting the test ride pretty soon, because I'll probably be going on it now basically. Oh, I can't tell you how good that feels. That is about 3 months of work right there. I thought it would take about 3 weeks, but